It's Thursday, the 13th of August. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, parents, and welcome to Newspaper Review and Analysis on SBS 96.9 FM. The morning stop for the stories making headlines and the issues that affect our daily lives. I am Oluwabukola Mary Sumoni. This morning, we have security, democracy, and human rights on our front pages. Let's begin at home, Kwara State. Traditional rulers, community leaders, and residents of the Ibekodun local government area are celebrating the establishment of a new Nigerian Army battalion in Umuaro. The stakeholders have praised President Bola Tinubu and Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, saying the military presence will strengthen security in Kwara South. The Olomu of Umuaro, Oba Abdulrahman Adeoti, has also promised the full support of the community, while the local government chairman pledged cooperation with the army. The military says the deployment is part of the federal government plan to increase its operational capacity across the country. For residents who have been worried about insecurity, however, the expectation is simple. With the arrival of more soldiers actually make people feel safer in their homes, farms, businesses, and communities. That is what we'll be asking this morning. And from Kwara, we move to the northeast, where the military is reporting a significant development in the fight against terrorism. According to the military, the number of terrorist fighters and associates surrendering to troops increased by 213% in 1 week. The military says this follows sustained operations by Operation Identify, including attacks on terrorist positions and disruption of the supply route. 2 high-profile terrorist members also surrendered with weapons and ammunition. The military says the increasing number of surrenders show that terrorist groups are losing fighters, morale, and the ability to continue their operations. And generally, that sounds like a good news. But is this a good news, really? Now let's move from security to something that concerns democracy and human rights. A coalition of Nigerian, African, and international civil society organizations is asking the Senate and the federal government to withdraw the proposed foreign aid regulation, Transparency and Disclosure Bill 2026. The group says the bill could make it harder for the human rights organizations, humanitarian groups, and other civil society organizations to operate. The proposed law would create a foreign aid regulatory commission with powers to register, inspect, audit, sanction, and even suspect organizations receiving foreign funding. The organization says they are not against transparency. The concern is that excessive regulation could become a way of controlling organizations that criticize government or defend vulnerable Nigerians. They also are worried that publicly revealing information about human rights defenders, survivors, and witnesses could put some people at risk. So the question is straightforward. How does government regulate foreign funding without regulating away the freedom to speak, organize, and defend people's rights? And finally, we turn to the topic that talks about young Nigerians. The People's Democratic Party has warned that voter apathy among young people is weakening Nigeria's democracy. At its International Youth Day program, the party urged young Nigerians to stop being spectators and become active participants in politics and governments. The argument is simple. Young Nigerians make up more than 60% of the country's population, but despite that number, many young Nigerians either do not vote or remain disconnected from political processes. The party also pointed out the irony of the not too young to run movement. And yes, young people can now legally contest elections, but can they actually afford to? Well, that is one of the bigger questions we'll be looking at after we look at some other headlines making rounds on our Nigerian dailies this morning. Stay with us. On the Daily Trust newspaper, Nigerians will vote APC out if polls are free fair, says PRP chairman. Dr. Hakim Babame, the national chairman of the People's Redemption Party (PRP), has stated that Nigerians will vote the All Progressives Congress out of power in 2027. provided the election process is free and fair. Baba Ahmed argued that the APC is formally concerned to not be the opposition political parties, but the Nigerian electorate who possess the ultimate power to determine the outcome of elections. He made these remarks while discussing political realignment and opposition strategy ahead of the 2027 general elections during an interview in Kaduna. According to him, political parties do not determine election outcomes. The electorate decides which candidates and party emerge victorious. He maintained that the APC is aware that allowing citizens to fully choose their leaders would likely work against the party in 2027. Baba Ahmed also cautioned opposition politicians against forming alliances solely to remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu without having a substantive plan for governing the country. On the Daily Trust newspaper, Nigerians will vote APC out if polls are free and fair, says PRP chairman. On the Guardian newspaper, ADC reviews opposition coalition plan to challenge Tinubu. African Democratic Congress (ADC) has disclosed plans for the opposition coalition to pursue the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) and defeat President Bola Tinubu in the 2027 general elections. The party's national publicity secretary Bolaji Abdullahi, while speaking on plans for 2027 and other national issues, said that discussions on building a broad opposition coalition ahead of next year's presidential election remain open. Abdullahi said that the ADC was convinced that only a robust and united opposition would have the political capacity to challenge Tinubu and the ruling party. The ADC National Publicity Secretary, while emphasizing that the ADC remained interested in bringing opposition groups and political interests together, said the coalition project had not been abandoned. On the Guardian newspaper, ADC reviews opposition coalition plan to challenge Tinubu. On the Guardian newspaper this morning, new Abia Commissioner of Police vows zero tolerance for crime, corruption. The new Commissioner of Police in Abia State, Wilfred Olutokunbo Afolabi, has pledged to strengthen intelligence-led and community policing while declaring zero tolerance for corruption, extortion, and other forms of misconduct within the country. The command spokesperson, DSP Maureen Chioma Chinaka, disclosed this statement in a statement following Afolabi's meeting briefing with area commanders, divisional police officers, heads of department, and commanders of the Violent Crime Response Unit. Afolabi said the officers told the officers that he assumed duty in Abia with a clear mandate to serve with integrity, enforce the law without fear or favor, and protect the lives and property of residents. The commissioner said his administration would align its operations with strategic re-engineering agenda of the Inspector General of Police (IGP) with professionality, accountability, and responsiveness forming the core of policing in the state. They warned officers against extortion, corruption, and any conduct capable of tarnishing the image of Nigerian police force, stressing that such behavior would not be tolerated under his leadership. On the Guardian newspaper, new Abia Commissioner of Police vows zero tolerance for crime, corruption. On the Daily Trust newspaper, insecurity affecting revenue generation, says Customs. The Nigerian Customs Service said insecurity is negatively affecting its revenue generation. The Assistant Comptroller General of Customs and Zonal Coordinator, Zone B Kaduna, INSICAC, Patrick Humo, disclosed this yesterday during a tour of the Niger Kogi Area Command Headquarters in Mina, where she met with vehicle importers to discuss the command's operational challenge. Uma said the security challenge had affected several custom commands, particularly across Northwest, where officers are increasingly exposed to threats in the course of performing their duties, lamenting that the resultant effect was that some custom officers had been killed or maimed, while others had been forced to limit their operations because of fear for their lives. She explained that the situation had contributed to reduction in revenue collections in some commands, as police officers as custom officers were compelled to adopt more cautious approaches to their operations. Umar reiterated that insecurity was also taking a toll on the health of custom personnel, with some officers developing hypertension due to fear of death. On the Daily Trust newspaper, insecurity affecting revenue generation, says custom. On the Vanguard newspaper, federal government charges NDAs on compulsory data localization. Nigeria has officially agreed that data is a new phase of the country's economic renaissance after President Bola Tinubu admitted that data is the new oil. The new development sees government appearing to favor data governance as the best way to get the country's economy thriving again. For example, the government is tightening the rules on how citizens' personal information is collected, stored, and protected across public institutions. Perhaps in strengthening confidence in government digital services, the President has just directed all ministries, departments, and agencies (NDAs) to fully comply with the Nigerian Data Protection Act (NDP) Act. This directive alone reinforces the country's to make responsible data governance a cornerstone of public administration. At the heart of the secularized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's growing emphasis on the strategic value of data in today's economy. On the Vanguard newspaper, federal government charges NDAs of compulsory data localization. Those are some of the major stories making headlines this morning. After this short break, our analysts will take us beyond the headlines as we ask the questions that matter. Stay with us.
Fashion lovers, get ready. Larilux, your premium fashion brand, is now open. Shop your top quality designer hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, blazers, and polos, all crafted for comfort, class, and luxury. Style your look today with Larilux. To place your order, call or WhatsApp 0814-778-0665 or 0902-630-5039. We deliver anywhere in Ilori to your doorstep and nationwide. Fast, reliable, and stylish. Larilux. Luxury made simple, style made personal.
Welcome back. This is still newspaper review and analysis on SBS 96.9 FM. This morning we are discussing the new army battalion in Umuaron, the reported 213% rise in terrorist surrenders in the northeast, the controversy surrounding the proposed foreign aid regulation bill, and the growing concern over youth voter apathy. Joining us this morning are our distinguished analysts, Dr. Ayuba Jabaje Esquire and Comrade Olaito Aruje. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's start with a story that is particularly close to home. The new army battalion has begun operations in Umuaron, and community leaders are already expressing their support. Dr. Jobaje, what does this mean for the people in Parasit, and particularly Umuaron? Let's go.
Currently that has been located. I think it's when he assumed office, he will discover that has been trying to do one form of activities or the other just to Nigeria. And this step from improving the military division from 8 to 12. So I want to describe it as a local development. And in fact, Kwara State is getting one out of the newly created 4. So going by the barrage of insecurity that we are having, that we are experiencing in Kwara State, what we want to say, that arrangement is a private one for Kwara State. So I believe this will go a long way in ensuring that the insecurity that we are complaining about, at least the creation of this battalion will go a long way in reducing the level of insecurity that we are complaining about. So, and on this project, like you said, the critical stakeholders area of Irepodu local government of Kwara State, the critical stakeholders there have expressed their willingness to support this military so that the immediate environment as well as the surrounding environment will become a safe, if not a safer place for people to live. So I think it is a welcome development. And in this regard, like we used to say, that security should not be lost in the one cell of government. All other cells of government, I mean the state as well as the local government, because the creation of this is the handwork of government. So the areas where the state government as well as the local government will be needed. We want them to support and protect with this battalion, because we are the primary victim of this high level of insecurity. Because as we are speaking, don't let us forget that, like we used to say, so many families, they are in serious trouble, not because of anything, but the breadwinner of the family has been taken away as a result of insecurity. Many children are now orphans, and many housewives, as we are speaking, have turned into widows. So, in that regard, I still want to commend the federal government, but I don't want the state as well as the local government to see it as the sole responsibility of the federal government. Because on usual and regular basis, we normally debate or talk about this issue of security force. That what are the things that the state governor are using the security force for? And I believe the only area that we can know they are making judicious use of those security force is for them to support any of our security agencies, especially in the area of intelligence gathering, because the successes that we are recording in recent time in the area of our security has to do with intelligence. Even from Kwara State here to Orire local government in Oyo State, the successes recorded in the two states were really largely as a result of intelligence. So I think the Kwara State government, through the local vigilantes as well as the state police, if that eventually comes into reality, I want them to support this military in the area of intelligence gathering so that they should be able to leverage on that and give us a very secure Kwara.
Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Never do the games. We have lots of them. For robbers to take care of the child, to just a man mothers and even their sisters that have happened to us. To think as long as this. You see, what I will once we call something a man, it must be treated alive and fairly. You can see that the seriousness of the government is as the people when the people rage the southwest of Nigeria. See how many years it can be in this place. See how many years people have been suffering in the eastern part, southern part. Why is it that with all their bullies in order to effect and I'm not saying that doing this is not they have really done it even though it is late. It is better late than never. However, I think we can back all what we have experienced. The negative, the trauma, and some people they pledge to people before people voted them. Our security members have been taken down to that level. Do not take the advantage of people. You know, we have a lot of information that to go around to abuse their women, to abuse their rights, and their children, and most of others. Just in the name of having access to community. The authorities should check them. They should not give them absolute power. They should be checked and balanced. Nobody should be afraid of them. Anybody amongst them that may behave or behave beyond what they have been given is a responsibility. Can't you imagine how can it be taken that a security man for an environment to be secure is now thriving with another man in the community, chasing the same girl together, now using your power to show how superior you are to the other person that you are running after a lady together. Outside the context and the context of which you are being given the responsibility. I think we should remember that these people have suffered a lot because they are dead. So they should not in any way have to. I'm not talking about some issue of management whatever they are given to discharge their responsibility must not be diverted and taken now the leaders, that is their officers, that is the superior officers over there, should not take what belongs to other lower cadre officers. But that used to kill morale. If what is obtainable is not found, or what is claimed is not fulfilled, or what is made available is not shared, at the end of the day, the willingness to really work as expected will no longer be found. Another thing is that the community should be very committed. Because it is the members of the community these people used to use as their informant. And if they are the one that is now giving information about the movements of the security, that they are about to pick up, they are coming, this is the route they want to, and they relate them on the way. So it means that we are the ones that are appropriating and appropriating. I think that's how you can do it. Another thing is that the community of which they land, that is where the community that house them, the monarchs over there should not take the advantage over the other communities that they are in war before. They do not use that to bamboo them or to even put them into war, diverting their attention out of what they are meant to do over there. Another advice I would give is that the politicians should not hijack the scene. this is the period of election coming. Campaign, there is no doubt about the fact that campaign of election will meet them over there because they are going to finish their assignments. So it is expected of them that they should not allow the politicians to take them over or to use them against the opponents. So finally, we expect that will be done. Because many occasions, the security officers that we put in place at a certain area to create sometimes come to because they feel that the more the war, the more the money coming. Instead of them to do the needful within the reasonable time, they will rather elevate it and give it more color than expected. So we should do it with patriotism and allow the state to come back to this.
Beyond first last time on this topic, beyond the ceremony discussion, what should the resident realistically expect in this situation?
Yes, the single expectation of the residents to have their communities to become a safe place. That is the sole communities are expected from this event. I believe if that is achieved, definitely normalcy will come back to this communities and people will start because there is a particular school of thought, and then I have against them. There are certain Nigerians that believe that immediately election is coming, this issue of insecurity is happening from again. And as we are having it presently, it seems as if that school of thought, they are very much correct.
Very quickly, let's go on a short break now. We'll be right back.
Looking for a smooth, stress-free flight experience? Nurul Kulub Travels and Tour brings you easy flight booking with Umza Aviation Services Limited and United Nigeria right here in Ilorin. Flight to and from Ilorin to all parts of Nigeria is available. We offer the best Umrah packages for August, October, December and Ramadan. For ticket purchase, visit Nurul Kulub office at Umar Aldi Way, GRA, Fate Road, Ilorin, or Nigerian Correctional Services, Cocos Hotel and Garden, Airport Road, Abuja. For inquiries, call 0803-357-9219 or 0802-988-6743. Reach out via batureganiu2021@gmail.com or nurulkulub2025@gmail.com. We've got you covered with Umrah and Hajj packages, hotel reservation in Saudi Arabia, ticket to international trips to all parts of the world. Nurul Kulub Travels and Tour, your trusted path to a seamless journey.
Assalamu alaikum, dear parents, Quranic school teachers, and the good people of Ilorin. Does your child have a beautiful Quranic voice with excellent tajweed in Asli, Markazi, Adabi, Zumra, or the late Chief Imam of Ilorin Star? Here comes the opportunity. The general public are hereby invited to the Ilorin Children's Quran Recitation Competition. From all entries received, 37 outstanding participants will be selected to compete in the grand finale, where 6 winners will emerge. Amazing whooping sum of prize to be won by the overall best and each winner from other 5 categories. The grand finale comes up on the 20th of August 2026 at the Kwara State Banquet Hall, Ilorin. This competition is proudly organized by the Yahya Alakwasapa Youth Education Foundation, YAYEF, in collaboration with the Ilorin Emirate Youth Development Association, IEYDA, to promote, preserve, discover, celebrating Tajweed and the timeless recitation voices of Ilorin.
Yeah, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, very quickly, let's move to the next topic, which is happening in the Northeast. The Nigerian military has recorded a 213% increase in the number of terrorist fighters and associates surrendering to troops in the Northeast within 1 week. Doctor, what is 213% is reasonable percent of the terrorists. What does this mean in the military?
Whenever their resources, they over. If it is true that they are killing us, however, that is not the best expression of it. For criminals to surrender, it's not sufficient. Like, what are we doing? More about the we are coming in. Very, very seriously. They are in the same time together. It is by virtue of their narrative that this side is Nigeria, this side is. They are just crossing in and out. And there is nothing, people don't know that are here, that are made to really take it. They are here to pockets. And that is why you will see our law office and our security men that are put over there, you will see them that they love more for doing people over there, there is absolute lawlessness. You won't see anything over there. You hardly see functioning communication over there. You hardly see functioning military station over there. You hardly see the performance of our set of people that are meant for immigration officers. So you see some of these things. You see Nigeria, when we want to take care of this country, because there are some countries taking the road that they are. There is nothing that is better than having our country friends. Friends, seriously. We have the money. I'm telling you the truth. We have the money to do it. And those countries that are doing it, some of them are even bigger than Nigeria. And the one that is not even up to Nigeria, if they can do it, and they are not having resources that it means that we can equally do it. We have never thought of it in any way. If we don't even know what to do, let's cut the areas at which there is influx of the terrorists. We take care of it adequately by taking the into the place. So if this information is new, as we are in today, we always doubt everything. Then we are but they themselves know that it is not true. But if it is true, we are making best use of our opportunity.
Comrade Arija, the report says the military is providing channels for terrorists who want to surrender. Now, note that these terrorists, they've done a lot of that. So where do we draw the line of taking it back to okay, come. A free pass of it, whatever you do now is an escape it, an exit route for the terrorists.
Yes, thank you very much. That is the very giving amnesty to certain Nigerian or certain group of people on series of life. So that pattern to me, I don't normally subscribe to it. Going by number of bad things that these people have done. You see, though that's very particular figure because that's between over and 30 to disruption of the activities of these terrorists.
Yes.
And from what we normally know is that if we disrupt the supply chain of a particular group, whether they like it or not, definitely they are going to surrender. But this time around, what Nigerians are looking up to is that we don't want the government just to accept them back into the society. Because these people, don't let us forget that, like you said, that they have brought untold action to many families. So if the government is receiving back them into the society, definitely the trauma that the affected families are passing through, those traumas are still there. And when these people the government is receiving them back, definitely I believe the usual style is that after a certain period of time, the government will say they want to reapplicate them and make them fit back into the society. So such group of people, I don't accept. What I believe this time around that can go a long way in reducing this level of insecurity that we are facing is to make it an eye for an eye. These people, surrendering alone is not enough. The government should take a very decisive action against them so that those the remaining of them that are still very much at large will know that it is no longer business as usual. And those that are warming up to join them, they will know that there is a very stiff punishment if anybody should be found culpable of that. Don't let us forget that, like the doctor has said, the best thing we can do is to make sure that these people are recruiting younger ones into their ranks and fight. The government should try all possible best to make sure that they disrupt that channel of recruitment. Because don't let us forget that last week we discussed about the return of the kidnapped parents. So that we lost 13 of them to the jail of the kidnapper. And young children choose to be staying with the kidnappers. So that is to tell you that these people, as much as certain number of them are surrendering, they are still recruiting the young one into their ranks. So the government should look to them just mere surrendering. I want the government to take a very decisive action against them so that even the families that have lost their loved one, we know that the government is taking a very good step. But if it is just surrendering, the government rehabilitates them and they reintegrate them back into the society, definitely this issue will continue. Because after wrecking havoc, these people will believe that if they surrender,
Yes.
the government will still receive them with a very cute way.
Very quickly, let's open the studio line so our audience actually can join this conversation. The studio line to call this morning is 07078440441. The studio line to call to join the conversation is 07078440441. Alright, so we move to political as we talk about PDP. The PDP says democracy dies when youth are silent, and talk about the movement of youth being able to participate in election and also running for offices. So the question now is that why you say youth can now contest, can they really afford to contest?
listen to that. Let me about you the worst thing where I was telling you. Many of our IT officers are no longer graduating in university. I'm telling you the truth. Because if you try it with any of your students that is in the university, and you should go and learn anything or whether who are host of others or coding, I'm telling you, we abandon the university and we'll be looking at you as you because the level of knowledge you are making which does not come around to now finish all the things. The politician sees the need as a system. The ballot paper snatched, used as thugs, and the reason because anybody maybe able to use them to until Nigeria has the better arena. The whole those ways that say is my coming to know people. If you know them, where is their houses? They are the one that are living there. Yes, it is their family that are there. How can they continue to be? And we are so stupid that we are saying that yes, the new one is not better. We go back to the old one. How can we continue to be? We should have a new if the new is not good. We should not go back to the old because we have really seen the nature of the old. We have seen the nature of the current. Then we should look for another thing. How can we say we should leave a solution and we should go back to hell? I don't understand how we are saying. And the youth does not really understand anything. From the people, the kind of youth we are giving in this society, all we have to do is people are giving us our friends. Don't you see how they do it? Don't you see how they handle it? If they 25 years of age and not to the vote of this is what I'm doing that and still in life of them, you has to come and lead anything. See many of them, do you think that the youth of our own community, the youth of our own country? No. If the likes of Iran can come out and say it that the missiles they are using are being produced by their primary school students, it got to a level they declare that we have exhausted that one. The one that is now produced by the secondary school students is what we are using against the US. And they believe them. They defeat the US and the UK and all others. The 56 countries that come together to do that, they defeat them. They are now saying don't forget to go and use the one that however, there is nothing that cannot be put. It is not and I so feel that it's a prayer that the God take it.
Thank you, Doctor. But concerning the youth participating in lots of things to aid the country, we can talk about conditioning, the societal conditioning. Those kind of conditions, they are not, according to what some Nigerians are actually, Nigerian youth, they've responded, they said, we're not silent, we're simply tired of unemployment, tired of hardship, tired of politicians who appear during elections and disappear afterwards. And truly, when it comes to youth, this our party,
Yes, definitely no. You see, before you can blame a very particular society, definitely the silent this younger Nigerians that we are talking about, they were produced by the elders. And the failure on the part of the elders to do the necessary things put the youth in the condition they have. So the issue of total apathy, those that are causing it are the leaders of this country. Because people choose to take a back seat when it comes to election as a result of the failure on the part of the governing us. So I believe that if Nigeria needs to do that, those governing them we do better and what they are upgraded is a collaboration with expectation, I believe the issue of quota and party is no longer there. Even not only on the part of the youth, even we have some elderly ones that their position is that on the election day, if you tell them that you want to go and cast your vote, they ask you that those that you cast before, what has been the result? And to be sincere enough, you won't have anything to show them as what you have been able to achieve from those that you come protest for in the past. So then on the issue of the youth silence, the youth Nigerian youth will continue silence, not because of anything. Though there are so many ways that especially there are so many legislations in place that meant for youth. But in the other way around, when you look at those legislation as well as the guideline provided by INEC as well as different political parties, you will discover that those guidelines provided definitely negate the provision of the Constitution that there is a particular legislation that was passed in the 8th Assembly, not too young to run. But you are calling on the youth to participate actively in the politics when the nomination form an APC for presidential election goes for 800 million naira. Nomination form for gubernatorial seat is 50 million naira, senator 20 million naira, and House of Representatives 10 million naira. That is for nomination alone. We are not talking about campaigning. We are not talking about mobilization. We are not talking about all other logistics that should be put together to ensure that a party presents a very formidable candidate. So all this, when you look at all this together, you will discover that there are nothing but discovery blocks in the wheel of progress of the youth country. But all in all, should Nigerian youth continue to be silenced? Definitely no. But the best way to do that is what the doctor has offered us. Because there are so many things. Even I was listening to a particular program 2 days ago, and there was a particular candidate in one of political parties that is fine for senatorial seats here in Kwara State, to be specific, Kwara Central Senatorial District. And people were calling the man that instead of you to join this so party, the party you are, that party cannot deliver you as their senator. You can imagine the type of thinking that people are putting forward just to negate the efforts of the man. And this set of people that they were the one that called on those, especially the radio analysts, that certain group of you should come forward. They are very much ready to support anybody that come forward. But unfortunately, the situation, the atmosphere is not favoring that call. So the Nigerian youth should look beyond party affiliation. The much of the work normally done by the youth. So I don't want them this time around to take a back seat, but to use that effort, that youthful exuberance, to look for credible candidates, and they should be very much ready to throw their support behind any identified credible candidate so that we can have a change of narrative.
Thank you, comrade.
Please, I want to add something little. The little I want to add is just like, you see, it is difficult to win a woman, if you contest. Because all the women will throw their power behind her. See the NBA. The presidential, the election of NBA this very year. You will see that a woman for the first time. I met with the woman we had picture together. We never believed she can win. She was even begging, trying to beg people to come and stand with her to have pictures when we met in Kano. But his son said it, that be careful of a woman when he's contesting, because all other women folk will stand by her. Why don't the youth equally do same? It is not every party, it is not any political party that is seeking for 100 million or whatever. Those people that owns APC will never leave it for youth for life. Those people all having PDP will never leave it for. They should go and look for a new party that will seek for nothing. They can protest in their own state that we don't have money and talk to the people at the national level. Give us free tickets. It happened in Kwara State here in the last political dispensation when PRP, somebody from Ogun State stood up and paid for all
Candidates.
all the candidates. He paid for the whole of everything. At the end of the day, when they were given, many youths were given the opportunity to fight for the positions without paying 1 naira. Do you know what happened? They went to the sitting to the big party and sold everything to them and collected money and go home. I don't know whether I get so apathy you are talking about. There are many factors to it. Our youths are dead in thinking. They are no longer thinking that they can stand on their own, and they can do, if they can do NANS and succeed, if they can do SUG and succeed and many more, how do you now think that they cannot perform in political whatever? They should align with anybody that is youth and give him the votes and ready to cause trouble if anybody change their votes.
Thank you very much, Doctor. This has been very interesting conversation. And with that, the newspaper review and analysis comes to an end today. A sincere appreciation to our analyst, Dr. Ayuba Jabaja Esquire, and Comrade Olaito Arije for joining us this morning and helping us to look beyond the surface of these stories. And to our listeners across Kwara, Nigeria, and beyond, thank you for staying with us. Keep listening, keep asking questions, and keep demanding accountability. A thank you to our studio operator, Oluwato Imakide. Thank you very much for keeping the operation smooth. I am Oluwabukola Merisumone. Remember, the change you desire begins with you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning.
active on SBS.
ayé wa rajà àti tiwa o ẹ wá rajà àti tiwa ẹ bá wa dùpọ̀ ọjà wa wọ́n ayé wa rajà àti tiwa. ayé ẹ wá rajà àti tiwa o ayé ẹ wá rajà àti tiwa.